Hello?
Hi, is this Ms. Gurchiek?
Yes, it is.
I wanted to give you some preliminary results. Is this a good time for you?
Yes.
So it did come back as cancer in the lymph node.
Okay.
It's the pathologist is now doing additional stains to determine the origin of the cancer. So, it's most likely going to be breast, but I wanted to at least, let you know that there are cancer cells in there. It is what they call metastatic cancer, and we just have to determine the origin.
Okay.
I'm so sorry to give you the news. So he'll biopsy
I had a career, a life that from the outside looked picture perfect. The accolades, the travels, the image. But you can't judge a book by its cover. For decades, I was the poster girl for success, health, and vitality. But behind the lens, behind the smile, was a truth I couldn't speak until now. My name is Gayle Gurchiek. I have stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. I am the poster girl for what happens when the air you breathe, the water you drink, and the earth beneath your feet turn against you. The consequence of growing up in a town where toxic chemicals have been quietly poisoning us for generations. This is not a rare tragedy. It's the story of an entire community, silenced, dismissed, and dying. But this time, the world is going to hear us. I was diagnosed with stage 1 breast cancer in 2014. I chose to do surgery and radiation. This is a decision I regret to this day. I was in a support group with 4 other women. We all had the same type and stage of cancer. The standard protocol was surgery, radiation, chemotherapy, and a drug called tamoxifen. 2 of the women chose to do the whole thing, and they died 2 years later. Now, my cancer is back with a vengeance. Stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. It destroys your finances, your body, your mind, your relationships, and your career. But I can't give up. I have to keep fighting, even if I have to do it by myself. So I did what anyone would do. I fought. I researched. I became a full-time patient in a broken system. I consulted with 13 different doctors.
I'm going to tell you what I know.
Yeah.
You're going to tell me what I don't know.
Okay.
So I think about 10 years ago, you were diagnosed with a left breast cancer.
These are the conversations that dominate my life.
Initially, the cancer was highly favorable. It was well differentiated, and that means it looks more like normal tissue, and now it's poorly differentiated.
Every doctor's visit was like learning a new language, one spoken in acronyms, Latin, and uncertainty.
So when we're looking at breast cancers, ductal and lobular, that just helps us understand where in the breast the disease started and helps us look also at the receptors, estrogen and progesterone receptor, and the marker called HER2, and that helps us understand pathways that drive the growth of the breast cancer. And so on your original breast cancer in 2014, strong estrogen and progesterone receptor expression, 100% for both, and on the recurrence now, still really strong estrogen receptor, a little discordance with lower progesterone receptor expression and HER2 negative.
They saw tumors, charts, numbers, but they didn't see me. Not the seizures, not the blood clots, not the single kidney, the liver damage, the autoimmune diseases, the vascular disease, the Lyme. They saw none of it as a reason to reconsider their plan. Surgery, chemo, radiation, the full assault.
If I do everything that's said, what is my chances of survival? Do we know that?
don't know that actually. It may be very, very good. You may never have another problem in your life.
Okay.
As long as you stay on the endocrine therapy as prescribed.
Okay.
You may have a problem. We just don't know.
Okay.
You know, you're just not we don't see patients like you very often, you know?
The answer was brutally honest. We don't know. We just don't see many patients like you. And they were right. They don't see many like me, because I shouldn't even be alive. After walking out of another doctor's office, dazed and shattered, I realized they don't have a roadmap for me. I had to find another way. If I was going to fight, it had to be on my terms. That's when I kept hearing one name over and over, Elizabeth Tringali, a practitioner who actually looks at the whole person, not just the tumor, not just the scans, but the root cause. With functional medicine, the question shifts from how do we kill the cancer to why did the cancer happen? And that question changes everything.
Functional medicine, we're trying to find the root cause of what happened to you. So if you have a diagnosis of cancer, what was the trigger for that? There's obviously genetics and again, environmental toxins, but DNA damage, what different exposures have you had that could cause that? And what can we treat? So we're looking for that root cause in functional, and it's evidence-based medicine.
Amid the chaos, something unexpected happened. I received a grant to a holistic retreat in Martha's Vineyard. Dr. Ronnie founded HEALed, the Martha's Vineyard Holistic Retreat, in 1997. She took one look at my case and said what no one else had.
When you take someone so healthy and beautiful looking, you get a complicated case because with the 8 diagnoses, you don't get the allopathic doctor taking you seriously. She will never survive the toxic stuff that they want to do.
It's a cruel irony. I look healthy on the outside, but they don't see the war happening on the inside. And if you don't fit their image of sick, you're dismissed, ignored, gaslit. I had no choice but to become my own advocate, my own warrior.
8, 9 different diagnoses in one body.
How often do you see that?
Not a lot. Not a lot. Her journey is so bad, so pathetic, so unfair, so unnatural that is painful at night for me.
There, surrounded by ocean air and open hearts, I began to reconnect with my body, my mind, my spirit, and a kind of medicine that listens.
You're nothing short of a miracle. I believe that.
It didn't promise a cure, but it offered something just as rare, the belief that I was more than a diagnosis, that healing was still possible. And for the first time in a long time, I had hope. Coming back from Martha's Vineyard, I felt so balanced, but I knew I couldn't ignore Western medicine entirely, so I gave it another try. What I found was complicated. Medications don't always play nice together, but neither do the doctors. One side speaks of balance, root causes, healing from within. The other, protocols, prescriptions, and pathology. And standing in between them is me. Even worse, some of the Western or allopathic doctors took extreme offense to anything holistic or functional, as if choosing to support my body in other ways was some kind of betrayal.
So I wanted to ask you, who recommended you? They brought in a guy from California who's what? He's specializes in cancer and hormones. But he was talking about an alternative, another thing to try would be mistletoe therapy. I don't know if you've ever
Fuck
heard of
that.
that. No?
He needs to go to jail.
Really?
That's how I feel about all these alternative people,
Okay.
because they all come back dead.
Okay. He's functional.
Exactly.
So,
No, this
okay.
is not functional. This
Okay.
is not.
Right.
Run.
I understand.
Report him to the police.
Okay.
Ooh,
Okay.
That just
Okay.
makes me like curdle. And there's that one place called that place. I want to like bomb that place.
I haven't heard of
People
that
go
place.
there. It's alternative therapy,
Okay.
and it's for people who have stage 4 cancer who are gonna die anyway.
Right.
They give them false hope.
So I just got out of my doctor's office, and I felt so compelled to like just say something because this is so important. First of all, I record all my doctors because I have brain fog, I have seizures, I have inflammation on my brain, and I can't remember a lot. And nobody's there holding my hand, nobody's there, asking questions on my behalf. There's nobody. So I go into these appointments, I record it so I can listen later. Like, did they say this? Did they say that? Did they want me to do this? Do they want me to do that? And today was exceptionally disturbing because I hear a lot of really unprofessional, uncaring comments when I'm in the doctor's office because I'm by myself. I think they put on their best their best face when they're confronted by more than one person. But when you're by yourself, it's just a completely different situation. And I was in shock when I was with her. I was kind of brushing it off and laughing about it. But like I came out and I've been bawling my eyes out because like to say stage 4 people are going to die anyway, and I'm your patient, and I've been your patient for 7 months, and you don't even look at me like a human being. You don't even recognize what you're saying to me, and you're saying that I'm going to die anyway. It's like so disturbing. It's just so wrong. And I'm freaking done. I'm done. I'm done with Western medicine. It's disgusting. And we put our lives in their hands, and it's like, you're nothing but a paycheck. It's just disgusting. I knew in that moment something had to change. If I was ever going to move forward, I had to go back to where it all began, back to Williamston, Michigan. My brother and I were raised in a small agricultural town in central Michigan, a place where the simple life hid a toxic truth. My brother Jeff died in 1986 of brain cancer at the age of 17. My mom died in 2018 to lung cancer. My dad was first diagnosed in 2011 with prostate cancer. Then again in 2023 with bladder cancer. And here's what's staggering. Our entire family, none of us are even genetically related. My brother and I were both adopted, yet somehow this family shares the same diagnosis. What are the odds of that being just coincidence? And we are not the only ones. Cancer has swallowed this town. Now that I'm faced with this daunting diagnosis, I'm determined to figure out what is going on in Williamston. We've all worried and wondered, what is killing us?
I haven't drank the water in years.
Barb married Dean, our state wrestling champion. He passed away in 2022 from throat cancer.
I've thought about it for many years. And I just didn't know what to do about it. And now after Dean got sick, I did think about water, pesticides. So I live on Church and on Putnam Street. There was Jane, Steve, Lee, and then the woman across the street. from him. I didn't know her, but she was an older woman, and she passed away. And that's within not only the block, but within 4 houses.
Yeah.
So that's when it really I was another person, another one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's strange for two people in the same house. But,
Everybody's neighbors. It is crazy.
right.
And in my house, it's all of us. And then Les's whole family, and then his whole neighborhood that he was growing up in. It's
His
just
whole neighbor.
his whole neighborhood. He was telling me, he's like, the whole
And
thing.
Dean's mom passed of cancer. as
Did
well.
she?
Yeah.
When did it register with you that we had a problem here?
Oh, I think it was probably when I was in my 8, 9 years old. My mom was talking about it. My grandpa Carter always brought it up, saying, I think there's a lot of cancer in Williamston. Nobody did any tests or anything, so nobody knew why everybody had cancer that used to. Because you had multiple people pass away. The people that used to own the Sun Theater, he died of lung cancer, and he was about 15 years old.
Really?
Cancer doesn't just touch individuals. It weaves itself into families. And Carter's family is no exception. His father battled cancer 3 times. At just 24, he was diagnosed with thyroid cancer. Years later, melanoma. His mother's journey was no less intense. Stage 4 lung cancer, a diagnosis that shatters most people. And more recently, stage 1 breast cancer.
So many people have passed away.
Kelly says 3 families that lived by the same cornfields have been so ravaged that simple coincidence seems impossible.
My brother Tony got cancer when he was 13 and then died when he was 15.
Several of her family and close neighbors have passed over the years from combinations of brain, lymphoma, and breast cancers, including her father just recently. Others are still sick.
Tony had lymphoma, and then the other 3 had brain cancer, and then Laura died, I think, of breast cancer. Back when we were growing up, the field, we didn't know anything about chemicals or what was being sprayed, and we had a pool. That field is not far from that pool.
Just like Kelly, my childhood home sits to this day surrounded by cornfields that were sprayed regularly by crop dusting planes. Right where we played and swam. Was my family a victim of our toxic environment?
We were swimming all the time in the pond.
There's something. It's really crazy.
We can't expect it to be easy to get answers about what's causing the pain here. If there's anyone or anything to blame, we can be sure they are looking out for themselves from disclosures of civil or even criminal liability. Les Rogers is all about quantifying and understanding environmental impact on specific populations.
This is something that bears further investigation.
Not only is Les a case manager for class action suits for a big Michigan law firm, he was also 2 years ahead of me at Williamston High School.
My father succumbed to prostate cancer at age 53. My sister has ovarian cancer, had ovarian cancer, it's in remission, and she had been treated. My mother succumbed to hilar mass lung cancer. She was 82.
And he too has cancer.
I myself had just went through my first round of radiation through prostate cancer and diagnosed at 55.
As do a lot more people right nearby.
We had multiple neighbors up and down, say within a 2 to 3 mile stretch of country road that have at least 7 people that I can think of, maybe even more. This is everywhere. It's prevalent. It's in our food, our crops, our water base, all our stuff that we use. People talk about the hippies and the movement and the whole thing and trying to protect the planet, Mother Earth and Earth Day. Nobody does it.
Well, I am. I was born on Earth Day 1970. As I face death, it is my mission to find out why my friends and family have lost their lives and why the suffering continues.
And I've litigated on that, by the way, as well.
I spoke with Robert F. Kennedy Jr., a man who has spent his life exposing environmental crimes.
There's been a systematic suppression of studies of toxic chemicals, and particularly their links to chronic disease. The problem is a system that no longer serves the people, and a people who are so divided and so fearful that they are easily ruled. It's time to unlearn the reflexes of fear and blame and find ways to unify ourselves and turn our country around. I won't pretend to you that it will be easy, but I know what it will take. My father said it: love, wisdom, and compassion toward one another. And that's where we need to start.
In February 2024, he was in Grand Rapids, Michigan, campaigning for president, and I caught up with Bobby on the trail. He was briefed on our town's situation and on my efforts to investigate what's been hidden for far too long.
I mean, one of the things that we did, I've done in these situations, is do group surveys and then compare them to national averages. Okay. And then you can at least get a news story going, saying, because otherwise it's just your experience. But whereas if you quantify it and say, we interviewed 500 people in the town, we gave them a questionnaire, and here's the facts.
This is something for the past 50 years that has changed. In fact, we have introduced, just in I think it was 2023 or 2024, 2.3 billion tons of chemicals into the earth, just in 1 year. And they're saying by 2030, that's going to double. So you really have to pay attention to the air that you're breathing.
Is anyone paying attention? Because if we're not, the consequences won't be just mine. They will belong to all of us.
I don't know if I mentioned this. This study just came out. We are ingesting a credit card of plastic once a week. Did you know that?
What?
Yes, once a week. Once you damage the DNA, you're changing the coding for how your body repairs tissue and rebuilds the body. And so with whatever poison you're being exposed to and a deficiency, etc., you can't repair yourself, and then cancer occurs and those cells divide and go crazy and there's no more apoptosis and they get a tumor.
My DNA has been damaged beyond recognition, and what I don't want is for anyone else to follow in my footsteps. People need to understand we are being poisoned. This is not political. It's not religious. It's not about gender or race. This is humanity. And if we don't wake up, cancer won't just be my story, it will be everyone's. Nature is our refuge, our sanctuary. But our refuge has been poisoned. Our air, land, and water are compromised. Pesticides, pollutants. They're toxins of our own creation, and they're among the most lethal forces we've ever known. They're destroying not just Mother Earth, but all of us. About 1 in 2 men and 1 in 3 women in the U.S. will be diagnosed with cancer at some point in their lives. We're not at the brink of disaster. It's upon us. We are dying by the millions. Our children are sicker than they've ever been. We are living in a fog, and we walk the land oblivious. Often we are uncaring and disconnected. We can deny or ignore the problem until we or someone we love is faced with disease and death, and only then do we demand answers. But we are bound by the same fight. Nobody is safe. Together, we have to face the truth. I am asking for those of you who are brave enough to come join me. Help me get my message in front of the largest platforms, the loudest voices, and the most powerful change makers. It is our chance to fight for change, for accountability, and for our future.